I think it can be intimidating when you look at something as big as memorizing a whole book. So, for me personally, I began memorizing individual verses, and many Christians do. I started when I was a student in college with the Navigator's topical memory system. I started with 2 Corinthians 5:17 and started with that, and Galatians 2:20. And I think you start small. I think it can be intimidating. You know, when Jesus taught against anxiety, he said, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. I think Satan tends to load you up with some huge thing. Well, what this means is for the rest of your life, you're going to do this or that, and it's overwhelming. Don't do that. Do today's work today. And so I would say that with scripture memorization. Start today. What could you do today? Don't worry about memorizing a whole book. Let's start with a verse. Let's get into the habit. And then when you start doing a couple of verses, then I'll try to persuade you on the value of lining them up in a chapter. And you can do a chapter of 20 verses. You've already done 6 or 7 or 8. You can do 20. So let's do that, and then kind of talk you into it that way. Be like a physical trainer saying, "Hey, look, we're not looking at that big, huge goal right now. We're not looking at running the marathon. We're going to point toward a 5K race a year from now, kind of thing. Let's build up." And then little by little, you move to it. So my example over the years has been helpful to people, but I think it can be intimidating because I've memorized a lot of scripture. So I don't talk about all that. I talk about how I started. And then what happens is the value of each verse and the insights that you're getting from it, they feed that desire. And you're like, look, I can do this. And I'm not really worried at this point about how big a task it is. I just want to learn the next verse. I want to learn the next paragraph. I want to learn the next chapter, and it goes on from there.